But as for now, Game 6 of the ALCS is tonight, and let's see how it plans out. Now, enough with baseball. I watched I watched the Raiders Chiefs game. Was probably one of the best endings I've seen since last year's Green Bay and Detroit game, or should I say 2 years ago when the Packers and the Cardinals. Either one was a really good game, but it was a fascinating game. And the Chiefs and Raiders game, yes, hated rival. The games is always nasty in the sense that there's always penalties involved. And Marshawn Lynch, I think Marshawn Lynch should be fine. I don't care. You cannot, and in any circumstances, pull the ref and expect not to be ejected. Are you kidding me right now? I did not have to hear from Deion Sanders that he's defending him. Deion, come on. How you could defend? Right? You know what he did was wrong because of the sportsmanlike conduct penalty. Marshawn Lynch is like a fool, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a big Marshawn Lynch fan. I never was. He's a hell of a player, don't get me wrong, but he's not. He don't have, I want to say, people skills. I could tell you that much, but he's not your. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what to say at this point, but to do that, I was just so disgusted. I really was. It really turned me off, and that's the thing. But nonetheless, the Raiders won the ball game in which was a thrilling game. A lot of back and forth game. It was a back and forth game. Both offense, probably one of the two productive offense in the NFL not only in the AFC but in the NFL. But their defense. They had a lot of work. They had a lot of work to do. Oh my God! But their defense is not carrying them. I tell you that, either for the Chiefs or the Raiders. But as always, a lot of penalties as expected, and the Raiders need to win. The Raiders won this game in a big. Needed this win more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, even though the Chiefs could have run away with this division, even though with this win. But with that said, the Raiders needed this. As I mentioned again, the Raiders needed this game because if they were to lose this game, their season, in my opinion, would have been over. They would have. 2-5, I know it's not a lot. A lot of teams could come back from 2-5 and make the playoffs, but it would have been a disappointing from that perspective. But 3-4 is better than none. They can bounce back. But here's the thing: they gotta play some defense a little bit. Not just both teams, but the Raiders in perspective. If the Raiders gonna be in the mix in the West, Denver play defense. Kansas City, even though they don't show it, but Kansas City plays a little defense slightly. But their defense has to be much better. You cannot let the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs' offense is productive with Tyreek Hill and Alex Smith. But their offense, their defense, need to be more productive. Would it be more productive? I'm not saying be the '85 Bears or be the 86 Giants or the 90s 49ers, but play some defense and get some stops, get some key stops when it matters most. So. But other than that, as I mentioned, it was a tremendous game. back and forth game. That's what a rivalry game is supposed to be about. A lot of back and forth. Two teams don't like each other at all. Knocking each other out, you name it. This is a perfect rivalry game, and these are two teams that go way further back. Get way further back in 1960. So let's also hope this is the week 7 of the NFL should be tremendous. There should be a couple tremendous games so far. A couple of tremendous games. Jets, Dolphins. Let's see if the Super Bowl rematch, the Patriots and the Falcons, and let's see if the Falcons, quote unquote, bounce back from the Super Bowl. But I think there's nothing you can do about it. I think the damage is done. The damage is done. So it should be a lot of intriguing matchups in the NFL. Now, as far as the NBA is concerned, the NBA season started this Tuesday. Golden State lost by 1 point to the Rockets. Look at the bounce back tonight against Alonzo Ball and the Lakers. And listen, even though Alonzo Ball didn't have his game, he was 1 for 6. 9 points, I believe, in 6 or 9 points, I'm not too sure. But he had an awful game. But let's calm down. Let's calm down for a second, okay? Everybody thinking the Lakers ain't going to be good. We know the Lakers ain't that good. We know they ain't that good. Who are you trying to fool? I mean, come on. Who are you really trying to fool? If you think this Lakers team was going to be that good and think Alonzo Ball was going to carry them, you need your head examined. Let's calm down for a second. It's only the beginning of the regular season. And try to make excuses. Oh, he's not in. I hear ESPN and I make excuses. Or I talked to my brother. My brother trying to. A lot of people try to make excuses. Say, oh, he's not in football shape. Give me a break. It's all hogwash. Okay. All hogwash. You can't tell me, quote unquote, that he's in basketball shape. That's a bunch of nonsense. And please, his father is being a father, but I'm not gonna pay him no mind. As far as the Knicks is concerned, and the Nets, it is what it is. Both teams ain't going nowhere. At least the headache is over. At least you got rid of Carmelo. Porzingis, he's a hell of a player, but he ain't going to do it by himself. And as far as the Nets, I don't care too much about the Nets, to be quite honest with you. The Nets are the Nets, and they are what they are, so just gotta leave it. You just gotta leave it the way they. Just gotta leave things the way they are. As far as the West, and a freak accident with Gordon Hayward, I should say. I keep calling him Brandon for some reason. When I hear the word Hayward, I hear Gordon. But nonetheless, Gordon Hayward fractured his ankle and looking to miss. Most likely will miss the remainder of the season. He'll get an MRI. And I think in my mind it's a devastating blow to the Celtics. But I still think the Celtics will be good enough to be in the conference and to be in the mix of the East. So let's just see how it plan out. And LeBron is just being LeBron. You know the Cavs are going to be there. You know the Cavs and D-Wade, brotherhood and all that stuff. All that ish. So the Cavs are the Cavs. So as long as LeBron is there, the Cavs are going to be in the mix. We all know that. But that's it. That's the story from the NBA. Now, let's finally talk about college football and the big game of tomorrow. In my mind, the famous rivalry, and it's Notre Dame versus the University of Southern California. Let me say this, okay? And this is the first time I ever said this. Notre Dame is a better team than USC this year. And the reason why I say this, I'm not. Their run defense of USC is terrible. Their defense in general is terrible. They have give up too many yards. They give up too many yards. They're not productive. If it wasn't for that idiotic 2-point conversion at against Utah would have won this game. And on 2 occasions, the defense have a bad game. And listen, Sam Darnold, I know he can't keep having these slow games and expect this team to be productive. And I think he should. I don't think that Sam Donaldson. I think he's a battler. He's a worker. He's not the USC from 2002 to 2005, and I'm one of them. I'm one of those fans that I get spoiled with that USC team. Probably the best USC team I've ever seen, because I didn't see OJ and Lindell White in the 60s and 70s in the old days. But that's besides the point. The USC Trojans, their defense is not. They're not a champ. Let me just say, to be honest, USC is not a national championship caliber team. They're just not. I'm sorry, they're not. Their defense has been awful. They have not been productive at all. Twice they had 2 bad games against Texas and a couple of weeks ago, and last week against Utah. A couple of days ago against Utah. Last week, I should say. And also, their offense are very slow. They don't get into fast pace. They play slow, and their offense lay an egg. And you can't win in that. You can't face. That's why a couple of years ago they got blown out by Alabama. You can't play these type of games and expect to win. Especially their defense. Their defense, as I mentioned, has not been productive at all. And it has to get better. And I don't think firing the defensive coordinator. Firing the defensive coordinator, will it change anything? The answer is no. The defense is not just good. But nonetheless, Notre Dame should win this game. I'm not telling you it should be a blowout, but it's going to be a competitive game. Notre Dame, they have a running game. Their quarterback looks solid. I don't know about their defense. I'm not sure about their defense. Because they haven't faced strong opponents yet. In my mind. The best defense they have faced so far is Michigan State. And they just ran all over Michigan State. They really did. And shockingly blew them out, because Michigan State has a good defense. Good defense, but Notre Dame, their running game is very productive. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Chip Kelly has a good record against USC. I believe he does. I'm not too certain, but I think he has a pretty good record against USC. But I expect Notre Dame to win. I'll be shocked if USC win, because out of all the teams USC,